On this Ash Wednesday, the USCCB is asking the faithful in the U.S. to help Catholic ministries in more than 20 formerly communist countries by considering a donation to the collection for the church in Central and Eastern Europe. Joining me now on Skype to talk more about this special collection is Tatiana Stavnichi, director of the collection to aid the church in Central and Eastern Europe at the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. Tatiana, welcome, and thank you so much for being here. The theme for this year's collection is Restore the Church and Build the Future. Tell us a little bit about the significance of that theme and the importance of this effort, as well as some of the countries that the collection supports.
So it's a good question. Restore the Church. Some people might have in their minds that it's restoring the physical structures or the physical buildings. And in this sense, we're talking about restoring all aspects of the life of the church in these regions. So it would include things like replacing or providing places for worship or pastoral care, but it also means developing seminaries, seminary formation, helping them to develop basic church organizational tools, helping them to redevelop pastoral work, basic things like catechesis, work with children, youth, families, social service ministry. So all these things that had been completely destroyed and removed during the years of communist oppression in these 28 countries we work in. So.
And can you talk about some of the residual effects maybe on the church in Central and Eastern Europe from communist rule, and what are the conditions there for Catholics right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in that region, different countries lived through the communist period in different ways. There were different levels of oppression and suppression. So in some cases, there was a total obliteration of the church and any traces of the church. So for example, the Greek Catholics in Ukraine or the Greek Catholics in Romania. In other areas, the church was allowed to exist on some level, but very controlled, in a very controlled way. And so one of the ways that the communist system worked was it ripped into the very fabric of society. And one of the ways that they did that was by trying to remove the church from people's hearts. And they were hitting at questions of trust. By controlling every aspect of life, they were removing practices, like common practices of interaction and of organization that we find now are some of the things that are missing and that the church is growing in the region. So the Catholic, you were asking about the conditions for Catholics there today. It's very varied. As you know, since our region covers 28 different countries, we have areas that are moving further along, which are the ones in Central Europe, like the Czech Republic or Slovakia or Poland. And then we have countries like Belarus, Russia, Ukraine, Central Asia, Georgia, that are still struggling to find their way through the recovery process from the communist systems.
And Tatiana, we probably have less than a minute left, but I want to get to this. I want to know, if people want to help out, how can they donate? And quickly, what ways will those donations help?
Yeah, so the best way to donate would be if is through your parish. But if you miss your parish collection and you want to give outside of the collection, you can send your donation to the USCCB at You can find the information at www.usccb.org/CCEE. And you would make a check payable to the collection for Central and Eastern Europe. And the donations go to the full spectrum of the activity of the Catholic Church that's being renewed in that area. So anywhere from seminary formation in Ukraine to helping to rebuild parish spaces, worship spaces, pastoral spaces for example, for the church in Belarus, which was cut down to about 25% of the number of their churches after the communist period. So they've been rebuilding with that, and we've been helping them to create places where people can meet together. I also want to take just a minute. I have such an opportunity when I travel to visit all these countries to hear the thanks of all our grantees And I wanted to pass on those thanks to the listeners today. They keenly feel the solidarity and the friendship that's offered by American Catholics through this collection. And they always ask me to relay their thanks, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity to be able to do that today.
Oh, that is wonderful. Tatiana, thank you so much for relaying that to us, and thank you for coming on the newscast and sharing that with us. We appreciate it. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you. God bless.